Hi, so I just got this Steadtler pigment liner 0.5 and it's the first time I'm gonna use it. I'm just gonna do a random drawing. Usually for more serious drawings I'll do some pencil line work first, but this is my sketchbook and um, I'll just draw randomly sometimes and see what comes out. Some kind of background on the planet. I grew up with Star Trek and Star Wars, so sometimes these sci-fi themes come out in my drawings. Okay, now I'll fill in some shadows using a Chinese ink brush that has ink stored in it. I'm thinking that the shadow comes from the left hand side, so I mean the light comes from the left hand side, so the shadow will be on the right hand side. And so everything on the right hand side of the person, the shadow becomes deeper. Okay. I think I'm lengthening the shadow so that I can add more blacks. I think it'll look nicer. And if I lengthen the shadows, then everything becomes more black, and I'll give the drawing more contrast. Okay, now to add some textures, just have to flick it using the cover, and it gives that spray. I think I'll add some texture on the jacket. I'll try to avoid the light part because the light is shining on that part. That's about it. I'll show you how I color it in Photoshop. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop, and first thing I usually do is raise the levels, and yeah, so I brighten the background and darken the darks. Then I try to clean it up using my custom brush. Yeah, that's my custom brush there. So after that, I create a new layer, set it to multiply, and then just fill in. Wait, let me clean up this first. Okay, I don't want to clean up too much because I still want to keep it very hand-drawn, spontaneous looking. Okay, now I'm going to fill in just some flat colors. Since the edges are not a perfect rectangle, I have to follow the edges a bit. Color. Okay, now I think I'm going to color his jacket. I think I'm going for a complementary color combination where it's just green and red, but it's a dull green and a dull red. So let's try that out. Okay, now I'll just I think I'll color the sky or the floor. Okay, maybe I'll lighten the sky. Yep. And then since the face is the most important part, I have to make sure it has the highest contrast so that people look there first. I could go with skin color, but I think the blue makes it more interesting. Sorry, greenish blue. Cleaning up the edges to make it a bit more raw looking. I think I'll clean up the edges here too. I mean, I want it to look hand-drawn rather than too digital, computerized looking. Okay, now I open another layer to add the shadows. And I don't usually use gray, so I use a color for the shadows. And this time got this gray, bluish gray or purplish, and now I'm just adjusting the shadow color to see which looks the most interesting. Okay, so it's just multiplied over the image, so it's on a different layer. And that keeps things flexible if I want to change the color later, but I think it looks quite decent. Again, the shadows only appear on the right side of the person because the light's shining from the left side. And some shadow on the rock, and that kind of reduces the contrast on the rock as well. I don't want too much contrast on the rock. I want to keep the contrast on the main character. Reduce the contrast there by adding the shadow so that not so stark at that area as well. The highest contrast should always be where the main character is. think I'll just add some kind of clouds, and I think I'll go across his head so that will also increase the contrast where his head is, where the white touches the black shadows on his head. That should increase the contrast. So you look there first. I kind of like sci-fi themes because you can make clouds look however you like them, because they're not earth clouds. I'm just doing a color balance over all the colors and see whether I can make it look even nicer. I think this okay. Yep, and here we are. It's all done.